Our speaker, Reverend Phil DeGeorge, is by day a small business owner serving his local community with technical services and support and fun stuff too. The rest of the time, he's a writer, speaker, commentator, and a massage therapist. He thinks we would all agree that we've been through an interesting time. The question for the moment is, what's next? Reverend Phil's wish for the new year is that we, here on the glorious Oregon coast, remain the cohesive, tightly knit community we've always been, regardless of what's going on out there. No matter how we choose to see 2025, let's not let anything divide us here at home. Please welcome Reverend Phil DeGeorge.
Hi. I hadn't heard that introduction before. It started sounding like by day a small business owner, by night he's Iron Man.
That too.
Oh, you're giving away my secrets now. Okay. Okay. I was up early finishing this writing. I had something I haven't done in a long time. I had some coffee this morning. We'll have to see if this makes sense or not. Correspond, because it was done in a drug-induced moment. I'm going to take a moment first to talk about the Reverend thing. I've had some comments in the community. Been a minister for a while. I've just never really claimed it publicly before. My present mentor, Dr. Ruth Miller, says the shop is my ministry. I don't know. I just be what I think the world should be to the best of my ability, but just within my space. That's all I can influence ever. She gave me this, Dr. Miller gave me this about 4 years ago with the comment, it's time. 4 years later, I'm finally owning it, I guess. Anyway, hi there. So, seems like a year since I've been up here. Oh.
I was here last year.
You beat me to it. That's the punchline. Oh, it has been a year since I've been up here. Right, exactly. So, hi. Ever notice how the feelings of nervous and excited are really the same sensation in the body? I'm reminding myself of that right now. There's a reason I bring that up. We'll get to that later. Okay. So, interesting year we've been through, huh? One for the history books, no doubt. 200 years from now, the scholars will be debating what actually happened in 2024. Oh well, may you live in interesting times. Welcome to interesting times. So, put my serious face on, if I can figure this out. Okay, very serious stuff now. What is peace? Sorry, I can't look through that. We're not going to get that silly, I guess. What is peace? We've been talking about that all month. The peace that defies understanding. Well, that sort of says it right there, doesn't it? We can talk about it, but we can't express it in words. Words, for words to be formed, you have to left brain it. You have to understand it. Don't understand it. Right brain it. Be peace. Left brain will go along for the ride, where the right brain leads, the left brain kind of has to go there too, whether it wants to or not. Be peace. On the other hand, what's our culture trying to do to us now? Sell peace. What's the point of every commercial that comes on TV? You've got a problem. We have the solution. The solution is something external you have to buy. No, not really. They invented the problem. Is peace something you can buy? Is it something that somebody can give you? Is it something that can be legislated? From now on, all creatures will make merry by order of the law. No, it doesn't work that way. That was a moment in the 80s Flash Gordon movie, Ming the Merciless and all of that. All creatures will make merry. The next banner goes by, upon pain of death. Okay. Legislators. All right, what is peace? What is peace?
No conflict.
No
Having
conflict.
a conscious choice to choose no conflict.
Oh, she's ahead of me. Okay, very good. Yeah,
Presence of love.
the presence of love,
Absence of judgment.
absence of judgment. Okay. All right. Calm. Yes. Okay. I didn't hear anything that I can go to Walmart and buy. Jeez. Okay. Very good. I like to say, well, of love, nice word. Love, real love, is that which has no opposite. It's a thing that has no opposite. If you can love somebody one day and hate them the next, it wasn't love to begin with. Might have been infatuation, might have been companionship, filling a need in yourself with this other person. Okay, hormones. Might have been many things, but it wasn't the big L. Love has no opposite. I like to think the same is true of peace with the capital P. It's that it doesn't have an opposite. It is. Once you remove the filters that we all look at the world through, not always as pleasant. We look at the world through filters. It's who we are. We're in the material world. We have material vision. It takes training to see the world as it really is. Peace doesn't have an opposite. The peace that defies understanding. Left brain doesn't like to deal with absolutes. It prefers duality. Yes, no, black, white, left, right, right, left. Okay. I think peace is one of those things that you can think about it, but it's best to just be it. We are peace. We are love. When we're not playing the games that our culture induces, requires of us. John 16:33. I have said these things to you that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world. We'll get back to that one. Or John, my favorite book, 14:27. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. Not as the world gives, do I give to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid. Very significant. What's our news media, mainstream news media, always trying to do to us? Make us afraid. Matthew 5:9. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God. Much quoted thing. What's a son of God? Well, and this is something very important to understand. In those times, a son is a person who inherits from his father. Son of God inherits from God. Unfortunately, it's English where we have this duality of pronoun thing, but rewrite it as within your own comfort so it includes you, whoever you are. But blessed are the peacemakers. Yes, we'll get back to that one too. Okay, son of God, daughters. All right. Okay, did that one. What is peace? Okay. What is a peacemaker? Okay, what's a peacemaker?
There's a couple, yeah, there's a couple different variations of what a peacemaker could be.
Yeah.
It's really like maybe someone who has the wisdom and the ability to have wherewithal to control the situation. Or who wants to, just clunk you and just, that's how they're gonna make peace.
Shoot the troublemakers. Right.
You know?
Okay,
It was once a ballistic missile.
I'll get to that.
What did you say? It was once a ballistic missile.
It was once a Colt 45 pistol.
Yeah.
That's where the missile got its name from. Yeah. Okay, yeah, peacemaker. I don't think the Bible was talking about the MX missile. Nuclear warhead, MIRV. Peacemaker, like President Bill Clinton's famous quote, bombs for peace and missiles for mercy. Ooh. Yeah. These are the kinds of messages our world, our culture, the present culture that we live in, has us link up with peace. Peace means going to war. How does that work? Or World War I, what was it called?
The war to end all wars.
The war to end all wars. Oh, that worked out. War breeds war. There's no other way to put it. Yeah. The MX missile, the peacemaker. Martin Marietta, LGM 118A. What a nasty thing to attach to the word peacemaker, which, by the way, at the time cost $70 million a piece. That's 204 million in current money, each one. And they worried about how much money was being spent on the space program. Wasn't that much. Well, all right. So there's a bunch of facts, bunch of trivia, stuff for the left brain to, but anyway, whichever brain it is, to chew on, the language center, the thought factory to chew on. But beware of facts, beware of quotes, beware of arguments based in language. They might be right. They might even be capital R right. That would be by accident, though. And this stuff can be addictive. You can get lost in the arguments. You can get lost in the words. You can get lost in Bill Clinton's quote. Still, let's see here. Oh, right, yes. These words, weapons. Words can be weaponized. And this is what's happened in our culture, the news media. You could call this the National Enquirer lesson. Decades ago, the National Enquirer was a outstanding investigative journalism magazine that published inside stories no one else was getting. Then the guy running it discovered accidentally, deliberately, he could make more money with sensational headlines that were total fabrications. And that's where the National Enquirer came from in its current form. I jumped ahead here. Help. The mainstream news is doing the same thing, has been doing it since about 2007. They adopted the National Enquirer lesson. It's cheaper to invent news than to go out and actually find it. Oh, yes. 2007, the coming up election. I heard a news journalist being interviewed, a brand name news journalist being interviewed by another brand name news journalist, neither of whom name I remember now. And the guy was, at one point in his talk, he was lamenting how hard the job is. He said, you have no idea how hard it's getting to come up with an hour's worth of bad news. That was 2007. Shortly after that, the rise of fake news. Can't help thinking there's a relationship there. I also know that newscaster had no idea what he was saying, what he had just admitted to. It isn't news unless it's bad news. He thought that's the job of newscasting, to tell you what's wrong with the world. Hard to maintain peace under such an influence, isn't it? They really believe, and this was an honest guy, I don't recall exactly who it was. I remember the impressions of the time. He was an honest guy. He thought he was he wasn't revealing something about himself or his industry. He was probably sharing something that he thought would be endearing to his viewers or something. So it didn't work that way with me. So but the news media since then has been at war with the consumer. There's a, oh, here, let me pause for a moment. Okay, there's a, no, that's the wrong one. There it is. I'm going to pass some of these around. Take one in a little bit. I'll pass some around. These are statements, quotes, comics. You can take one or two if they beep for you, if it's something that would be useful for you to remember or to have a chuckle with now and then. Anyway, I'll get to why in a little bit, but this one, you can't see it, but it's in the pile. There's a king and his advisor overlooking a raging horde of peasants. Some of them are carrying pitchforks, some are carrying torches. And he said, the advisor is saying, oh no, you don't need to fight them. You just need to convince the pitchfork people that the torch people want to take away their pitchforks. See? This is all bombardment from our culture. Just pass them around. From hand, no, I mean, just pass the stack around. People can choose if they want. We live in a culture that's bombards us constantly with other messages than when I asked you what is peace, it's not what you hear at the 6 o'clock news. I just dated myself. Huh? 6 o'clock news. We don't really do that anymore, do we? It's news 24/7. Brought to you by Ginsu Knives. None of that. So here's a thing. This is beginning to get toward my core message. How do we preserve? All month we've been hearing messages and lessons. What is peace? The peace that defies understanding, the peace of God, the peace of Christmas, peace that Jesus promised us. How do we keep that into 2025? 2025, it's been an interesting year, like I started with. That's what seems to be true. Half the country is convinced we're moving into a jubilous, wonderful time. Everything's going to be fixed. Everything's going to be perfect. America's going to lead the world again. The other half is absolutely convinced with just as much passion. We're about to hit a time of unprecedented horrors. Well, perhaps not that unprecedented. 1933 comes to mind. Or, a lot of people have been making that connection. But the left, either the left and the right, here's the funny thing. I noticed they see each other exactly the same way. The Democratic Party. I heard some obviously on the right refer to it. The enemy has been invented. We're worried. Some of you are worried. Some of you are ecstatic. There's gloating. There's infighting. There's hatred. Right here in River City, right here in Walport, we got people shouting at each other, hurting each other, literally, over an issue that's done. What happens next? is 3,000 miles away. Even if we were living in Virginia and it wasn't 3,000 miles away, you know what? This is my world. This is your world, wherever you are, right here, right now. Doesn't have to be dictated by mainstream news. Doesn't have to be dictated by what's been being reported to you, which might not even be true. Even if it's honest reporting, almost certainly it's not being communicated 100% accurately. Even honest reporting can mislead you. Wars have been started that way. So keep in mind that the definitions like peace and peacemaker out there, they'll throw those words at you and they mean something else. Peace is a calmness, like you said. It's a calmness. It's a state of being. That state of being might bring actions along with it that you do in your world. It might not. You are peace. Keep that in mind through whatever seems going on up ahead. It's just somebody's rumor. Your world is under your control. Okay, I did pretty good there without looking at my notes. You know who Eckhart Tolle is? Most of you do, I think. It's the Power of Now guy. Fantastic stuff. He has said, your main goal is being present wherever you are and whatever you do. Then your life becomes empowered and you will do a lot of good. Be here now. Where do fears and worries live? Do they live right here now? Are they things about the future? There's things about the future. Has the future happened yet? Have you ever had a thought about the future that didn't come to pass? Have you ever had a thought about the future that did? No, don't answer that. It happens now and then. What was it? Might have been a Mark Twain quote, just came to mind. Somebody said, so all the problems I spent so much of my life worrying about, good thing, because they never happened. Implying they didn't happen because you worried about them. Well, you wasted most of your life worrying about things that never happened. Don't do that, because there's a lot of rumor, there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of pressure from our culture, from our news, from our everything that's going on, this moment in history. But be here now instead. That's the future. The future will take care of itself. Like my article, and oddly enough, my own publication. Once in a while, I write an article for it. Usually it's the one that doesn't have a byline on it. But I bring up a piece of old Latin, alia jacta est. The die is cast. No longer the time for voting, the time for campaigning, time for our personal involvement in the national process. It's done. We can relax now. We don't have to worry over the future. We don't have to float over the future. All right, and both of those are wrong. Unprecedented horrors coming ahead? Probably not. Unprecedented glory coming ahead? Probably not. Future has its own agenda. There's a Buddhist saying, you can relax, nothing's under control. When you try to take control, that's when things get complicated. So be here now. Time. Oh, okay. Kind of relates. Be here now. So what's a longer period of time? 5 minutes eating your favorite dessert or 5 minutes sitting on a hot stove? Still 5 minutes. but it sure doesn't the same experience as it. Time or a corollary thereof. Never ask a woman eating chocolate ice cream straight out of the box how she's feeling. She's not really here and now, favorite dessert or not. That's actually a quote out of Star Trek Next Generation. It does not matter what we think will happen in 2025. It matters what we think, what we feel about ourselves right now. Thinking, thinking can be totally unrelated to what we're feeling. What we're feeling is our truth. You want to know what you believe. You want to know what you believe. Don't ask your left brain. Look at your immediate environment. That's what you believe. You can also ask your body, how are we feeling? That's also what you really believe. Thoughts may or may not reflect what you really believe, because thoughts can be anything. Thoughts can be, what you picked up on the 6 o'clock news last night, 24/7 now. The future, your experience of the future is filtered by what you actually believe. What you believe can be changed. It's a choice. Choice. So the news media would have you believe it's a dangerous world. All these security gadgets make your house safe. I fail to understand how an automatic porch light makes your house safe. I just really don't, but it made somebody some profit. There is good news out there. Mainstream media won't tell you much of it. But there is beginning to be a counter movement. People are fed up with nonstop bad news. And it's starting to show. There are some news channels who work very, very hard to be neutral. Tangle, if you've never heard of it, ask Uncle Google. Tangle News. There's a daily newsletter you can sign up for. Absolutely neutral reporting. They'll go into hot issues. Here's what the left is saying. Here's what the right is saying. And here's what personal opinion. Very nice stuff. Or Good News Network. Some of you must know Good News Network. Again, a daily newsletter you can sign up for. Nothing but good news. Just went out. Nothing but good news. And there's more and more of that starting to happen. There is good news out there. Again, it's a matter of what do you listen to? What do you look at? You can filter this stuff. Your own experiences are feedback into the system, into what you believe, what you feel, and what kind of experience you're going to have out into the future. All right? Ah, yes. John 16:33. I have said these things to you that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world. Said that one earlier, but it's a good one. What's it mean, in me you may have peace? This is taken in many ways, and I'm not saying any of them are right or wrong, but for me, this was a moment when Jesus was speaking in his voice as spirit. He spoke in at least two different voices at different times, Son of God, and then at times the Son of Man, as the text itself will even say. Here he's speaking as spirit, saying, keep God in your heart, keep love in your heart, keep unity. Well, not necessarily this unity, but not a bad idea. Keep unity in your heart. We're all one family. We're all humans on this planet. Keep that in your heart. You will find peace to be constant and powerful. It will overcome the world, as it already has. It already has. Overcome the world, that is, make the world as you would have it be. How do you do that? Isn't that a big order? Well, they would have us believe it's a big order. Jesus told us it's already done. It's there. You just have to allow it. Don't chase it, don't grab it, don't pursue it. That's effort, and to an extent, that's violence. Let go of all that. Be peace. It's wonderful. We can skip that. Okay. We're really saying here is decide on peace. Decide on love. Decide on win. Oh, win-win. Yes. Here's this thing. You'll run into sometimes I run into this frequently, actually. Oh, your idealism is so cute. But this is the big boys table now, and this is the real world. No, sorry. You're at the little boy's selfish table. The actual adult table is the one where everybody wins. It's not easy. Given our culture, it's not easy. That's why actual adults are required to sit there. The big boys table, okay, right. What was that? 7 or 8 years of age, I started being called a big boy. I don't think they've grown up much more than that. The selfish table, the big boys table. Sorry, they're wrong. They're correct for themselves, but not for all of us. Decide on peace, decide on love, decide on win-win. That's really all there is to it. It's just a choice. Be peace. Doesn't require actions. Actions may follow or not. Do things to do. However, there are some things you can do. Like I say, look for the good news channels. Look for the truly neutral news channels. Even some of those that are agreed by both sides to be really neutral, they're, off to one side or the other. Okay. Whatever channel you mostly listen to, find one just that far on the other side of the fence. Listen to them. Get a more balanced viewpoint. Look for Tangle, like I said. Good News Network. Meditate on peaceful things. Find peaceful images that to you that bring up a feeling of peacefulness or wonderfulness. Maybe that magnificent ocean we live right next to. Isn't that amazing? All the world loves to look at the ocean. We get to live right next to it. What a gift. Use it. It's there. You can use it and you're not using up any of it. Walk along the shore, sit in the parking lot and just look at it. Watch its nature, learn from it. Calming music as opposed to 80s rock, say. Do the work. The work. Here we are in unity. We have the work that was given to us by Emily Cady et al., more Latin, and others. We have daily practices. I know some of you have been through the course, Reverend Ruth's course. By the way, I don't know if all of you know Dr. Reverend Ruth, 2 PhDs, and she just got a DD. Now she's first of the year, she becomes head of the Emerson Institute as well. Wow. Okay.
Oh, so that's why we don't get to sit there anymore?
Well, we're going to see what we can do about some of that. She's still available. She will be busier than ever,
Oh.
which for her is wonderful thing.
Mm.
She loves it. Anyway, this and the material that other material that goes with it. This is daily practices, meditation, uplifting material, things to reprogram yourself, things to help you see the world more clearly, daily practices. This is New Thought. This is what New Thought is. It's not just a thing we get together, right? Once a week, sing a few things, go home, kick the cat. Al Capone went to church every Sunday. It's a spiritual practice. It's powerful stuff. These are available. Every now and then Ruth runs a course again, usually based on demand. This is, Reverend Ruth brought the material up to more modern language styles. Other things you can do. Oh, don't do that. Pick the movie. If you watch movies, pick the movies you watch. There are some that are, shall we say, less uplifting. Slaughter, violence, gore, blood, things blowing up. I run among other things, I rent videos and we sort them by category. You know the difference between action adventure and thriller? If there's something, you look at the cover, if there's something blowing up on the cover, that's action adventure. Otherwise, it's a thriller. Okay, yeah. Be careful with the movies you introduce, the material you feed yourself. There are some awesome movies out there, like Joshua, like Lilies of the Field, things you've probably seen. Love Actually, marvelous, fun, uplifting, gentle comedy. There are videos from very profound teachers. Not going to get into that. It is a marvelous piece. You can feed yourself. Doesn't mean you have to give up the action adventure. You get some juice out of that, fine. Just don't start seeing the world as a place that blows up. That's the danger with these kinds of things. Although crime and violence in America is actually the lowest it's been in 50 years right now, in spite of what was recently being thrown around in the media. I don't know, some recent event, November something or other, it kept talking about the impossible crime rate. No, sorry, those numbers don't hold up. Yes.
Suicide, however, is at its highest.
Suicide, because yes, there are probably many reasons for that. I'm certain one reason, at least, the negative feedback from the news media presenting a hopelessness to everybody.
I disagree with that
Okay.
completely, because it's not the media presenting hopelessness. I think people are hopeless and nothing to do with the media. I think it has to do with the current affairs and the cost of living and the expense has never been this
Right.
extreme in all of history. I mean, you could almost compare it to the Great Depression as far as financial.
2008, the financial failure of 2008 was truly, it was a depression, even though they never
It was.
they never brought in the big D.
But I don't remember spending as nearly as much on groceries, and I made
course.
half of what I was making recently, like back in 2008. I mean,
It's
the
a-
cost of living is atrocious.
It's a very complicated set of factors that have gone in to all of that. Yes.
Like our generation,
Yeah.
honestly, is
Yeah.
just, I mean, struggling
Sure,
to survive, where, it's pretty bad.
Yeah,
So how do you bring
Okay.
peace into her?
exactly.
Energy.
Just where I was going to go. I think I must have picked your vibrations there. Yes, that's what the world looks like. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The cost of a chicken has gone up a lot. There are many reasons for that. Rate of inflation itself is only 4% right now.
I think a one bedroom is almost
Uh,
$2,000.
I think some of this we can talk about after we talk. Okay.
Not.
Again, it's like I say where to go, in my article in ATN this week. Okay, lost my point. It's there are many factors involved in all of that, but that's the appearance of the world out there. We'll talk about that after, okay? Other ways to help yourself: study. And study doesn't always have to be like your worst memories of high school. It can be fun. You ever read this book? How many of you have read The Tao of Pooh? Big smile over there, big smile.
The Zen of Oz.
The Zen of Oz?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I don't know that one. This is a great book. And you know what it's about? Peace. Wonderful. And it's fun. There's so many great quotes in here. Anyway, feed yourself appropriately. That you can do. Some of the world's illusions will go away. Other books you can read. Illusions by Richard Bach. Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. A lot of you have read these books of that nature. Put an ad blocker on your internet browser because too many of the ads are problem, problem, problem. We have a solution for you. Click here. You don't want that reinforcement problem. And that's not going naive blinders on. A lot of the time, those problems are not real. Also, it's an interruption in your thoughts. It's an interruption in where you were heading. You know, here you are, nice and peaceful. You're listening to some Zen of Oz music. And all of a sudden, dancing cigarette cartons show up on your screen trying to sell you whatever, Ginsu knives. Incompatible, jolting. This is always, I was 8 years old when I realized how awful commercials are. They have no respect. Here I am, deep feelings over the program I was just watching. And here comes something lively, buoyant, singing and dancing. It's like, and I remember saying to my mom, 7 or 8 years old, don't they have any respect for what we were just watching? She thought that was cute. Her reaction bothered me. Okay. Too many notes. The Hayam is an interesting song, the song that was played before we started here. But here's a good lesson too. It's a nice uplifting tune. It fills you with energy. If your Monday was no better, it was no worse than your Sunday, count yourself lucky. Beware of hidden messages that are a little on the downside. They're all around you. L'chaim is be joyful in spite of the fact that life sucks. That's kind of what the song is saying. Okay, be joyful is a choice. The world sucks. That's also a choice. It's your experience of the world. You can tailor that. Now may the Lord of peace himself give you peace at all times in every way. The Lord be with you all. 2 Thessalonians. The Lord peace himself give you peace at all times. Just keep it in your mind. Mind here, not mind here or here. Just, let both brain lobes work on that one. 1 Peter, they must turn from evil and do good. They must seek peace and pursue it. Must. They can't not seek peace. Never mind. So, oh yeah, okay. All right, here's a couple of closing thoughts. Getting old, as they say, and most of us here are over 30. Most of us, one exception. Bless you for being here. Getting old, what's that mean? Losing touch with the world, not keeping up with new things anymore. The language the kids are using today. My God, what the kids are saying these days sounds familiar. Somewhere back in the 60s. Wasn't I hearing old people using those terms back then? Okay. So the youngsters run around going, God, Mom's so old. We need to put her away. Based on what, I'm not sure. But I'll tell you what, you're not getting old just because you're not keeping up with what's new. You've done a lot of experimenting. You've done a lot of choosing. Choices have been made. And you found what works for you. Sometimes you're still experimenting, still finding new things. But the stuff you're comfortable with, that's okay. You don't have to keep up with what Riz means, or give me another one.
me on the spot.
Yeah, it's on the spot.
Uh,
Some other word that is incomprehensible to anybody over 60. It's like, what did you just say to me? Doesn't mean you're old. It means you found what works for you. Old isn't what it used to be. Don't set your expiration date. Okay. Certainly not on something like that, just because you don't know what the kids are saying, or because I'm so stupid when it comes to this technology stuff. I wish I had a nickel for every time somebody says that in my shop. It's like, no, you're not stupid. They rig it to be confusing. That's their business plan. Anyway, that's has nothing to do with being old. And that's also part of your experience. You're filtering your own activity in the world by a preconception of yourself. Stop doing that. And there was, I'm going to quote Anne Rice from her vampire books here. Good heavens. Where an immortal, one of the immortals in there, thousands of years old, proclaims, we never really change in life. We only become more truly who we are. I like that, actually. Keep refining, keep smoothing the rough edges off. Get rid of the stuff that's not you. Keep getting rid of the stuff that's not you. Peace becomes automatic. Or peace just becomes, or just is, because peace is. It's the baggage we keep in the way that limits our experience of peace. Be at peace in 2025, no matter what seems to be going on around you. Know that that's not the truth. With the capital T, that is a special meaning. Mundane, material world truth, that's a small t. Not denigrating what the evening news says, but it's in a different category. It's not the real world. The more you focus on peace, the more truth you will see. Truth is peace. Have a happy 2025.